What's up, everybody? It's me, Stevie, Supersmallchibiwolf, Supersmallchibiwolf, and today I'm going to be talking about the situations relating to Pragmata. So let's get into this. Now, I'll be jumping around. There's a few things that I wanted to talk about, and I also want to talk about and compare it to anime and other fictional sources. So yeah. Now, I enjoy talking about situations and then end it off in a good note. I think that's the best way to do it because I don't want to focus on negativity. Now, my biggest issue of Pragmata is okay, long story short. Sony first-party games are not fun, and the only thing keeping the PS5 alive is the third-party games. And Pragmata, being a Capcom third-party games, it's unfortunate that I have to say that, that saying isn't true anymore. Pragmata is basically similar to a first-party Sony game where it's a boring dad simulator. I'm sorry. Me personally, I feel like when it comes down to medias, right? Two things. Don't get me wrong. There's like the, what was it called? Exception or like gaming, comes out and it's like, wow, cool. Like, for example, Resident Evil 9 Requiem, we see Grace taking care of Emily. I love this story. It's interesting and cool. And then, Leon is a part of that, and we see just like, wow, wonderful stuff. You know what I mean? I think it's a cool story how they ended that off. So I'm not against that there's characters with kids or a kid character that they have to take care of. If done right, it could be perfect. But if the whole game is going to be similar to that, it's not fun. And Sony, we've seen many times within their catalog of games, they've done that. You know what I mean? Their first-party games. Now, Pragmata is one of those games where you have to take care of an android girl, and me personally, I'm just not into that. It's kind of burned out. Me personally, I'd rather watch an anime similar to that. For example, Chibiusa with Usagi and friends, the fellow Sailor Scouts. You know what I mean? That's fun and wonderful. I enjoyed that. That was amazing. We see Pan, Videl, and Gohan. Wonderful story and storyline. I enjoyed that. We see... Damn it, I forget names. Mahora, I think her name is. Yeah. In Mahora, Inuyasha sequel or prequel, whatever. You know what I mean? So we see her, the Inuyasha's daughter. She has her own series in Yashime Demon Half. Yeah, something like that. And it was wonderful too. So I'm not against the fact that characters have kids or taking care of a younger infant. You know what I mean? It's interesting and wonderful. We see, again, you know what I mean? I enjoy seeing, Chibiusa messing around with Usagi and the Sailor Scouts. It's really cool and wonderful. I love classic Sailor Moon. We see that a lot. You know what I mean? And etc. And seeing even new forms of media with Emily, with Grace and Leon, and seeing how they're going to do that. Maybe in Resident Evil 10, we see, maybe Grace is like a teenager and she's fighting alongside of Leon and Grace. That would be amazing too. But, so my issue isn't that, it's 100% bad. But when... I've played games and watched some anime and TV shows where, you have this younger child character or kid character, and then it's like, okay, is this going to be like we need to defend them, we need to protect them? Is this going to be like, okay, they do their own thing? You know what I mean? Now, me personally, I'm kind of like, I'd rather watch an anime based on that. That's all I'm saying. So moving on from that, I feel like when it comes down to it also, the only situation I have besides the dad simulator stuff is Diana's look. If you did not know, Diana has a adult-looking face and childish body. A real child has missing teeth. They have a childish type of look. We all know how a child looks. Me, I have cousins and other people and friends who have children. So. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is when you have she's an android girl. That's not the point. That's besides the point. When you have a child with the face of an adult, that is fucking weird. Emily from Resident Evil 9 Requiem is a perfect example of how you do it. And this is fucking ironic. 2 Capcom games coming out in the same year, not even that much far apart. And Emily looks like a perfect example of how video game children should be, while we see blonde android girl, she has a face of an actual real life adult, and it's like, dude, what the fuck you making a model out of a child? You know what I mean? Like, that's weird. That's fucking weird. let's be honest. Let's be realistic. I'm not saying all of Pragmata is weird. I'm not saying Pragmata is this type of game or whatever. I'm not saying that. It's just a game. I could see how some people could find wonderful, fun time with Pragmata. I'm not trying to hate on it and try to call it and its players this or that. That's not what I'm doing. All I'm saying is it's weird that you have a childlike body and you have a adult face pasted on the child body. That's all I'm saying. That's a fucking issue, in my opinion. But besides that, I would say that I saw somewhere that Diana is inspired by Wally from Dr. Slump, which is interesting. Also, some people compare Diana to young Princess Diana from Wales, I believe. Yes, from 1990s and all that. Before she unfortunately passed away. And she was gorgeous. She was really beautiful, dude. You know what I mean? Me, born her from that place of the world, I'm like, yo, she beautiful. That princess, I just wanted to bring that up, I thought that was interesting, you know what I mean? Like she's, what was it? Inspired by her. So, yeah, just wanted to bring that up. That was cool. Now, many people would hate Diana, like I said, people also say I heard that, this is in defense of Pragmata. People saying, oh, of course, it's on the line of politics, I mean, and pragmatics, politics, pragmata. But yeah, in the way of people are saying, she's just an android girl and this and that, it's not fun. And people try to be political about that a lot. And that's just weird because we see a lot of amazing protagonists, female protagonists, like Samus Aran, Lara Croft. We have like Grace, although she has a little stuttery moments. Let's use other characters as example, We have Jill Valentine, Claire, Rebecca Chambers, you know what I mean? That's all Resident Evil. So, people be hating just to hate, I feel like sometimes. So that's another thing that I would say, about like a defense for Pragmata. So yeah. Also, I enjoy Grace, man. She was cool, man. Yeah, she stuttered, but why you be hating? You know what I mean? Now, my final issue with Pragmata is, in my opinion, some games do need online modes. Not every story game needs an online mode. Let me make that clear. Resident Evil 9 Requiem works perfectly as a story-based game. Silent Hill F. Dude, any Silent Hill, any Resident Evil could work perfectly with just it being a story-based game. Not every story-based game needs an online mode. But I think if it does have an online mode, it would be cool and amazing. You know what I mean? Like, Pragmata, if it had an online mode with objectives and stuff, maybe I would have gotten it and be like, okay, fine, I'll get this. It was just to try it out and see what up. But I don't know, it just doesn't really get to me. So, yeah. That's just how I feel personally about everything, Now, so yeah. So after talking about the situations relating to Pragmata, I think that there are so many wonderful things relating to Pragmata. Oh, wait a minute. I forget. Did I talk about this? If I repeat myself, you'll let me know. A lot of people are saying Pragmata is inspiring people to have kids, and quote unquote, they say it's a situation and this and that. And then some people are, I don't know, man. That line of, it's inspiring people to have kids. Look, woman wise, okay, have fun. Men to men, because I'm a man, I'm going to talk about the man aspect. But if you don't want to have kids, like, that's you. In my opinion, this is how I see it. Like, if you need a video game or anime or movie to inspire you to have kids, what is going on with you? Have a kid if you feel like having a kid. Do you need a media source to tell you or inspire you to have kids? Not everyone should be a parent either. There are people out there in the world which, they neglected their kids. They put them in foster homes. They reject them, and then we have an angry person in society. Let's be realistic. Yes, I am getting dark. Yes, that may be an exaggeration. But let's be honest. I've been to many countries in this world. And let me tell you, I met wonderful people. I met weirdos. So long story short, what I'm trying to say is, have a kid when you feel like it's ready and you know that you are capable to take care of another human being. That's just all I'm saying, okay? So with all that being that, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, bye.